On this edition of Early Look, I'm going to be previewing the middleweight title fight headlining UFC 319 on August 16th between champion Dricus Du Plessis and Khamzat Chimaev. My name is James Lynch. If you've never watched a show before, I'm going to go through a bunch of different stats and intangibles, and then at the end of this video, I'm going to give you my prediction for this fight. Some of the stuff, it may have relevance, it may not. I just want to hear your prediction for this fight at the end. We can have a fun debate about this awesome fight. This, to me, is the most anticipated fight of the year. Really exciting fight here in the middleweight division. Can't wait to get into it. Like we always do, let's do a quick tail of the tape between these two. You can see Du Plessis, 31 years old. Chimaev, 31 years old. 6'1" to 6'2", 76 to 75. Slight height advantage for Chimaev. Slight reach advantage for DDP. Even experience-wise, not like a huge gap or anything like that. Both guys very well prepped going into this one here. But let's start first with the current champion, Dricus Du Plessis, as he looks to defend his title here on August 19th. So I mentioned it there. 31 years old, 23-2 record. He's got 9 knockouts, 10 submissions, and 3 decisions. He is going to have a 1-inch reach advantage in this fight. This is a 5-round fight, obviously, with it being for the middleweight title. He's a second-degree black belt in kickboxing, former EFC middleweight and welterweight champion. He's the current middleweight champion in the UFC with 2 successful title defenses. He's the first South African to win the UFC championship. He's got Performance of the Night 2 times and Fight of the Night 2 times as well. Du Plessis did not have an amateur debut. He went straight to the pros way back in July of 2013. Made his MMA debut, UFC debut in October of 2020. That's when he finished Marcus Perez in the very first round. He's 8-0 in the UFC. He's got 4 stoppage victories. Some notable wins include Brad Tavares, Darren Till, Derek Brunson, Robert Whittaker, 2 wins over Sean Strickland, and Israel Adesanya. Is still the only fighter to submit Israel Adesanya in his career. He's had a number of layoffs throughout his career. We can start first with the Trevin Giles fight. Going from Perez to Giles, there was a 273-day layoff. Going from Giles to Tavares, there was a 357-day layoff. Going from Whittaker to Strickland, there was the first Strickland fight, 196-day layoff. Strickland to Adesanya, there was a 210-day layoff. Going from Adesanya to Strickland, just 175. And in this fight, he'll have a 220-day layoff going into this fight. So I think third longest in his career. Actually, yeah, third longest layoff going into his career, but not too bad. 220, did fight earlier this year. So going to have some momentum going into that. Du Plessis, kind of like his opponent here, has fought in multiple weight classes. Let's go over those. He's fought 19 times at middleweight. He's fought 4 times at welterweight. He's also fought a catchweight of 176. He's had 1 close fight in his career. That was the first Sean Strickland fight. If you go look on MMA decisions right now on the website, that was at UFC 297. It was a split decision win. If you look on the media scorecards there, 13 media members scored the fight for Dricus Du Plessis, 10 media members scored the fight for Sean Strickland. So majority did feel like DDP did enough to get the win. Let's look at his stats here. Significant strikes landed per minute, 6.12, very high output. His striking accuracy is at 48%. His striking defense is at 54%. He doesn't get hit that much. Takedown average is 2.55. His takedown accuracy is at 50%. And his takedown defense is at 50%, which will be very interesting in this spot. We know how great of a grappler and wrestler Chimaev is. His sub-average is 0.07. So that's pretty much everything you need to know about Stillnock's Dricus Du Plessis. Is yet to lose in the UFC. Will that be the case in this fight? We will have to see, but he's got a really tough opponent here in Boris Khamzat Chimaev. Let's get into Chimaev and everything that's talking about him there. So 14-0 record. He's got 6 knockouts, 5 submissions, and 1 decision. Like I mentioned, they're 31 years old, 6'2" with a 75-inch reach. So he's going to be just have a 1-inch height advantage in this fight. He's currently ranked number 3 in the middleweight division. He's got Fight of the Night 1 time against Gilbert Burns. He's got Performance of the Night 5 times. He's got the record for fastest consecutive wins in modern UFC history with 10 days. He's also got the record for quickest 3-fight win streak in modern UFC history at 66 days. Like his opponent, he's fought in multiple weight classes. So Chimaev's fought 5 times at welterweight, 6 times at middleweight, and 2 catchweight fights as well. Made his amateur debut way back in September of 2017, made his pro debut in May of 2018, and then made his UFC debut way back in July of 2020. So that's kind of interesting there. 8-0 in the UFC. He's got 6 stoppage victories. Some notable wins for him include Li Jingliang, who's ranked at the time, Gilbert Burns, Kevin Holland, Kamaru Usman, and most notably Robert Whittaker. Doesn't have any losses, never had any major injuries. He's had a few health things, obviously, within relation to COVID, which, you can see a number of gaps here. There was the whole situation with Leon Edwards where Edwards had COVID, then Chimaev was still recovering from COVID, then Chimaev had more effects from COVID as well. So remember that Leon Edwards fight was booked 3 times, doesn't end up happening. There was the Nate Diaz fight, the whole weigh-in thing, which was crazy. Paulo Costa gets moved from his fight. That's where Usman steps in. And then the Whitaker fight, he had an illness back in June. That was the fight that I believe Ikram stepped in and took, and Whitaker ended up beating him there. So maybe not, I mean, really active to start his UFC career, but since then hasn't been as active. He's had a number of layoffs. Let's talk about those for now. So going from, again, had the quick fights to start off his UFC career, but then going from Gerald Meerschaert to Li Jingliang, there was a 406-day layoff. Going from Kevin Holland to Paulo Costa, to Kamaru Usman, I should say, there was a 406-day layoff. Going from Usman to Whitaker, there was a 371-day layoff. And then going into this fight, he's going to have a 325-day layoff. So that's the second longest layoff of his career going into this fight. But we've seen Chimaev, have layoffs. Doesn't seem to affect him. Still ends up getting the victory. He's had a couple close fights, the decision fights that he had. We'll talk about those real quick. So the Gilbert Burns one, that was back in April of 2022. If you look at the media scorecards for that one at UFC 273, 17 media members scored the fight for Chimaev. 1 scored it for Burns. And so majority did feel like Chimaev, I mean, more than the majority, nearly everyone thought Chimaev won that fight. I did as well. And then there was the Kamaru Usman fight, which was a majority decision win. If you go look at the media scorecards for that, 20 media members scored the fight for Chimaev, 4 scored it a draw, and 4 media members scored it for Usman. That actually surprised me because, again, I thought Chimaev won, but 4 media members apparently felt the other way. Let's look at Chimaev's stats. Very impressive. So, you know what I found interesting here is significant strikes landed per minute is actually less than DDP's. His at 5.36. Du Plessis is at 6.12. Now, granted, Chimaev, does have a lot of great grappling and wrestling, but I know we do see him strike a lot too. 58% striking accuracies. That's higher than DDP's. Striking defense is at 41%. That's actually pretty low, which is surprising, but again, we'll see if that comes into the equation here. His takedown average is 4.31. Takedown accuracy is at 46%. And his takedown defense is 100%. He's never been taken down. Although I doubt DDP is going to be the guy to do that. You never know, but we'll see in this fight. And if we go look at the odds right now, most books having Khamzat Chimaev as the favorite. I don't know why they're saying, what's going on here? Why are we not getting best fight odds? What's going on with that? Okay, I don't know what's going on here, but you can see the odds here on the screen. We'll just bring them up. I don't know why the site's tripping out right now, but you can see there. Oh no, they don't have them. Anyways, I have the odds here on my piece of paper because I wrote them down. So right now, Khamzat Chimaev is about a -180 favorite. Dricus Du Plessis is at +150. And then if you look on Tapology, here's what's interesting here. People are actually picking Du Plessis in this spot more than Chimaev. 51% of people picking Du Plessis, 49% picking Chimaev. But again, the odds do have Chimaev as almost a 2-to-1 favorite here at -180. Pretty much every book I've seen right now has Chimaev as the favorite. So people are a bit split on this one. And that I completely agree with this fight. I mean, this is a really tough fight to pick. I know certain fan bases, I mean, these are 2 really passionate fan bases. I know if you ask, fans of DDP or Chimaev, they're saying it's going to be an easy fight one way or the other on either side. I mean, that's just how, that fan base is. So which way am I going on this one? Well, it's tough, but I'm going with Khamzat Chimaev here. So here's my reasoning. And again, we're talking about a guy in DDP who's yet to lose in the UFC. So here's what it comes down to for me. First off, I'm going second round submission. I think Chimaev gets it done. I don't think he'll do what he did to Whitaker and finish in the first round. But I just saw how strong Chimaev was in that fight, how he was able to get the takedown. I think he will get the takedown here. And I think DDP will have better striking defense, or submission defense, I should say, than Robert Whitaker. That's why I think the submission will come in the second round. I do think he gets it done. Again, 43% of Chimaev's victories have come by submission. He does have 6 knockouts, but I believe the majority of those were at welterweight, right? If you look at some of those knockout wins, these were welterweight fights. John Phillips. Oh, no, John Phillips. Yeah, no, that was a... Reese McKee was a welterweight fight. Gerald Meerschaert was a middleweight one. I'll give him that. But I just don't think DDP, I mean, we haven't really seen him get hit that much. He's got good striking defense. I don't think knockouts the path to victory here for Chimaev. I think it's more a submission. One thing that's kind of interesting, and again, I could be totally wrong on this come fight time, but if you look at who Du Plessis has fought, Strickland, mainly a striker, Adesanya a striker, Strickland again, Whitaker a striker, Brunson a bit of a wrestler, but nowhere near the level of Chimaev, Till a striker, Tavares a bit more of a wrestler. I just think that this is a new style for DDP that he's fighting, and that's not something he's really used to, is fighting like a heavy grappler, heavy submission guy. I think the style matchup could pose some problems there. Now, the layoff for Chimaev is a concern. It's always going to be a concern. Even as well as Chimaev's done and he hasn't lost, that is something I am sort of keeping tabs on. Like, how's he going to look on the scale and all that? I know obviously he's training while he's been off, but I think being out of the cage for a while could be a factor here in this fight. I'll say this as well, and I think I'm kind of stating the obvious here. If this fight goes past round 2, I think DDP has a strong chance of winning this fight. I think if DDP is going to win this fight, it's because he weathered the early storm and was able to take advantage in the later rounds. I know there's Chimaev people out there that claim he's got this amazing gas tank and all that, and yes, we could point to the fact that when he fought Burns, that he, was still dealing with some health issues, and that's why his cardio wasn't as good. And just with his style, he does kind of go for broke early in the fight, so that would impact your cardio. So, I mean, we've seen DDP go 5 rounds before. We haven't seen Chimaev do that at middleweight, going the 5 rounds. So I think there is still a question mark in his cardio. So again, I think if Chimaev is going to get it done, it's going to be early, but DDP can absolutely win this fight. I mean, if the fight goes later, I think DDP with his experience and his, again, just his perseverance. Remember when he beat Adesanya, it was a late finish, right? And this was a fight that I would say he was losing on the feet. He ends up getting the 4th round submission. I could see a similar thing happening here. Now, I'm not backtracking. I'm just saying that, like, this is a very tough fight to pick for me because I definitely could see a scenario where Chimaev can't get it done and DDP takes over. But gun to my head, I'm going Chimaev. I just think that I don't think it does get past round 2. I think Chimaev showed in that last fight with Whitaker. And again, the time I'm recording this is before Whitaker's fighting Reiner de Ritter. Maybe Whitaker turns back the clock in that fight, but I just think that Chimaev kind of showed that he can take a ranked middleweight and frankly make the fight look easy. I don't think he's going to make this fight look easy, but I do think ultimately that superior grappling and ground game will be a difference here as well. So I just, to me, Chimaev looked unstoppable in that last fight. That's hard to ignore in this matchup. So my official pick for this one is going to be Khamzat Chimaev by round 2 submission. But like I said, this is a good spot to live bet, I think, this fight as well, because if this fight goes past, if Chimaev can't get this done within 2 rounds, I think live betting DDP is the way to go, because I do think he has a much stronger chance of winning this fight later on. Let's be honest here. DDP's not getting like a 1st or 2nd round finish in this fight. This is not even typical for him anyways. Whitaker, Brunson, he finished 2nd round. Whitaker, he finished 2nd round, but I just don't see Chimaev, and even Trevin Giles, I just don't see Chimaev being in that same category. I think Chimaev would be much harder to finish. I think honestly, if DDP was to win this fight, it would be a decision. I don't think it would be a stoppage win, but you never know. But either way, sticking with my guns here, Khamzat Chimaev, 2nd round submission to submit Dricus Du Plessis in the 2nd round. So let me know what you think in the comments as far as a prediction. I want to know which way you're leaning on this one. Are you going? I mean, again, I think we're going to get pretty much what I expect. We're either going to get Chimaev early from a lot of people in the comments, or we're going to get either DDP decision or later finish. Is there anyone out there taking DDP early? If you are, and that happens, I will give you full marks after the fight for sure. I mean, that could certainly happen. It's a fight. Anything can take place here, but I think honestly, again, Chimaev's favored here. I think people kind of, have been privy to his skill set. As great as DDP's been, and he's been on an incredible run, and you can't take that away from him, I think Chimaev poses a much different threat here, and that's why I see him getting the submission. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, @Lynch on Sports. My name is James Lynch. This is Early Look. If you have any other fights you want me to preview that are coming up, don't have to be main events or anything, would love to get your feedback on this, but obviously the big fights coming up here, I will be getting to over the next little bit here. Appreciate you guys watching. I'll talk to you guys soon, and remember to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. It really does help out the algorithm and this channel a lot. My name is James Lynch. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.